Hello, welcome to the Kreative Devices Mobile Podcast, a podcast created for all creative devices users to tell their story and to help bring even more creative awareness to the world. Today, we're joined by the one and only Ville Tikkanen. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. How are you, man?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time to get on this video call with me. I know it's our schedules have been a little crazy, especially yours. Very busy man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, dude. It's great to be here and that we were able to align our schedules. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Please, let me and everyone else know what's been going on with you lately.
Um, quite many things, I'd say. I've been doing a lot of collabs with brands and um all sorts of like content related stuff and trying to write some music. And yeah, just like everything seems to happen at once, usually when it happens. So it's been hectic, but it's been great.
Nice, nice. And I know who you are, right? And a lot of other people, but for anyone who's watching who may not know who you are, please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. My name is Ville Tikkanen. I'm a guitarist, a musician, a creator from Finland. And what I do is I post riffs, um, original riffs. I post tabs for everything I do so people can learn and hopefully that inspires them as well. And I make like content with different brands, different players, and stuff like that. And I think ultimately my goal is to inspire others in their creative journeys. So I think that's sort of the main goal for me.
Nice. And how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this, well, in a serious way, I'd say around 3 years now. But I've always loved, taking pictures, filming videos, and also I've been playing guitar for I'd say 18 years now, and I'm 30 right now, so a big part of my life. And yeah, 3 years ago I really started taking the content thing seriously. So that's when things really took off. But I've been filming videos and doing everything like related to it for a lot longer. But
Mm.
that's where we are now, and very excited to share the things that I get inspired by and do cool things with cool people. So that's nice.
That's awesome. So you said you've been playing for 18 years. Uh, Please walk us through your journey. Let us know how you started. What made you want to play guitar? Was it a person? Was it a particular band? How did you start? What were you using? All of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure like what was the initial inspiration. It might have been like seeing some of my friends playing and it kind of looked cool. And I really like bands like Metallica and Slayer and Pantera and those kinds of bands. And I think that was sort of the first like musical inspiration. In my family, there are really no like musicians. My dad used to listen a lot of like rock music, so maybe that has affected me some ways. But yeah, I got my first guitar when I was 12, and it was a Christmas gift from my parents, and it was this really cheap, like I'd say budget-friendly Strat and a combo amp, like this, this beginner set,
Hmm.
and that's what I used for some time. I tried to learn like Metallica songs and maybe, Slayer songs if I could. Probably couldn't at first, but within like couple of years we started a band with some of my classmates. we had a drummer and a guitar player as well, and a vocalist. Just jamming with these guys, and yeah, from there, I got into more like tube amps, and I had different guitars, mostly like V-shape
Mm,
guitar, and really different kinds of guitars and gear, and we played gigs like locally and in Finland from you know from 15 to 18 years old, I think. And when you kind of reach early adulthood, people
mm.
start to go on their own paths and go studying and do their own thing. So that's when I think like that was like a when the band really like naturally in a way split apart. And I continued playing. Obviously, I did some other band stuff with my current band, Unscaled 7. Well, it's sort of a project related thing. We've been together for around 10 years now. We've played some songs, gigs, and released some music. And on the side, I really enjoyed doing the creative stuff for myself. And currently, that's what I'm like leaning towards. It really takes most of my time. And yeah, that's sort of the thing in a nutshell. I guess I started with those classic bands as influences and moved over to like heavier bands and like technical and progressive bands. And I think that combination can be heard in the riffs that I write.
I think so. Speaking of the bands that influenced your technical stuff, can you name some of those technical bands?
Um, I think like Periphery was one of those like modern bands, but earlier I think it was like Arch Enemy was one band, and Jeff Loomis as a player, Nevermore, getting to that like 7-string territory and lower tunings. And later down the line, I guess like Monuments and um, sort of the gent bands, I'd say.
Mm,
But yeah, there's a lot of like different influences, I think, that I really can't even name myself. They just evolve, and it's such a combination that I may not even recognize those myself. But I'd say those bands.
okay. Being from Finland, was Children of Bodom ever an inspiration?
Oh yes, yes, yes. I'm glad you mentioned them. They were definitely, and I feel like Children of Bodom and Alexi Laiho was really a big thing for many Finns who played guitar, and that's why I really had those V-shaped guitars, I think.
Mm,
And I have a soft spot for those kind of guitars, even though I don't really play them anymore. But yes, for sure.
okay. Yeah, Alexi was one of my favorite guitar players as well.
Nice.
Yeah, the guy was amazing.
He was
It's,
really
yeah,
such an
it's
inspiration.
always sad. Yeah, it's always sad to lose someone like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So now we know you moved on from the V-shaped guitars, and what brought you to the guitars you're playing now?
I think when I met my late friend Konsta, who was also my bandmate, he unfortunately passed away in the end of 2024. But I think he was the person who really introduced me to like passive pickups and the modern super strat shape. And I think he was really the one who like showed me that these kinds of guitars can be really cool. And we stumbled across Mayones, and brands like that really started like popping up back in like 2015, 2016. And that's when I really like got interested in like those kinds of guitars and really cool colors and classy but cool looking modern instruments. So I somehow maybe really like naturally with Gonsta I moved over to those and it kind of opened a new world for me. So I used like active pickups and he showed me the world of passive pickups and bare knuckle pickups and things like this. So I think he was really the person who showed me this world, I'd say.
Well, first, I'm sorry for your loss, and it's great that his inspiration continues. You know, he lives on through you and everyone else that he's helped to influence. So it's a great thing.
Yes, absolutely. And I think he was really the one who like showed me how to play these like melodic, progressive, technical riffs. That was something I really wanted to learn, but I couldn't really do that on my own. So I think Costa was like the person who showed me the guitar world, but as well as the playing style that you can really hear nowadays. So I think Costa can be heard through my playing as well, which is amazing.
That's great. Yeah, I never really got into the super strat shape. I did enjoy playing the Ibanez Gem, which is that same shape. There was something about that guitar that always felt right when I played it, right?
Yeah.
It sounded great, it felt great. It's just not something that I would have wanted to be on stage with. It just didn't. I don't know. I was always interested in different shapes, right? I started with a Les Paul. I went to a Jackson Kelly, and then to an Ibanez Xiphos. So I like weird shapes like that, and that super strat shape. I can appreciate it, but there's a reason why there's so many different guitar shapes because there's a shape for everyone, right? But it definitely looks cool,
Yeah.
especially when you play it, you make it look cool.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
Yeah. And it's really cool to hear like what kind of guitars you like as well. Do you own currently like many guitars or
Uh, I have a few. They're 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 laying around. They're not being used at the moment, unfortunately. But I hope to change that. You know, watching amazing players such as yourself inspires me to pick the guitar back up and continue.
nice? That's the goal.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
awesome. Hey, you're welcome. Now, I see you have your setup behind you. You've got some guitars back there in the computer. And I know you're recording all your stuff, you're editing your stuff, and you're doing all your content. What did you start with when you started out making your content?
I mean, I really used my phone. I guess the phone was something that I used for a long time, even though the quality was not as high as it is now. But I mean, that's what I used. And I remember like when I made some covers for on YouTube, I had like a gaming headset with the mic, and I mic'd this really small combo amp with that. This is like the recording side of things wasn't as good as it's now. So I
Mm.
got sort of creative with that. And I remember when like GoPros started coming around and they had this like cool view from the headstock down to the neck. And I actually taped my phone to the headstock of the guitar and it really couldn't like it didn't work, but I enough tape made it happen. So I get some cool shots. But I mean like phone like very basic gear and it's something that I've updated quite recently within these like 4 years now. So for a long time I used very like simple things and you can't really because it works.
Yeah. We have to make the best with what we have. That's all you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's crazy. So you went from your phone and walk us through your progression. What were the things that
Mm.
you upgraded?
I think one of the first things was the camera, and I use this Olympus camera nowadays, and there wasn't really a specific reason why I got that camera because no one really used it for, content, at least like music content. But I tried it once, it looked cool. I liked how the video looked, so I used that. And later I upgraded to a better camera. And well, obviously I got some lights because the lighting really is the key. I used when I started these sort of like very basic ring lights
Mhm.
just to, elevate that quality a bit. And later down the line, I got some better lights. Nothing crazy. I really have this like 50 euro softbox, which I got like around 3 years ago, and I still use it. So it does the job. And I think the camera and the lighting, those are the main like the clear upgrades. But obviously, like updating my recording gear and learning how that stuff actually works. So I'd say that's a combination of those things.
Okay. It definitely worked because you make some really impressive stuff. Quality is definitely up there.
Thank you very much. I'm really like a self-taught video maker and editor. I have never studied any of this. I use YouTube and the Google when I need it, but I think that sort of gives it this personal look when you have it really, your own approach. And obviously, I've
Yeah.
learned many things over the years, but it sort of has this DIY, you know,
Mm.
approach in a way, but
It
that works. So that's the main thing.
it's good. It's like having your own sound on the guitar, right? You get your own sound by trial and error. You come across things that you like and you do things your own way and you have your own signature. So it shows in your playing, it shows in your video making. It makes you unique. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, and I feel like people have said that whenever they see a thumbnail on Instagram, they know right away it's my video, or
Mm,
they hear the riff without the picture. Even they could listen to it with their eyes closed and they would know it's me. So I think
mm,
that's a big compliment for me, even though when you're doing everything yourself, you kind of get like, oh, this sounds too much like me. It's too close. But
mhm.
that's sort of what it makes it unique and personal.
Yeah, it was good. Well, a lot of people are still trying to achieve that. So you're definitely doing the right thing. And as far as recording is concerned, I know the camera, you mentioned the camera and stuff, but that's for the video. For the audio, what were you recording into? Were you still recording into your phone? Did you get one of those little pocket recorders? How were you recording the audio?
Like it's the first like well, the first videos I made for Instagram, I used only the phone audio. But with some of the covers that I made that were like full song covers for YouTube, that was, I think, some sort of a Scarlett, very basic interface
Mhm.
that I used. So either phone or the basic, audio interface.
Okay. And what computer were you running that interface into?
It was a very like basic Windows computer. I don't even remember like what it had, but it did the job, I guess. So
Mm.
something very basic.
Okay. And when you decided you wanted to edit videos, um, not just on your phone, you were still using that computer to edit the videos and put everything together?
Yeah, yeah, I did, and I had this like I think it was Magic's movie editor or something like that that I used, like very basic editing software. But nowadays I use the Adobe Premiere Pro and the Adobe products. But I think it was either like full on phone audio or I edited on some of those like basic softwares.
Okay. So I know that you have one of our devices, the Notebook Pro G16. Which computer were you using before you got that one?
Um, it was a one of those built um CPUs computers with like
Okay.
very basic stuff. It wasn't like laptop. It was from like 2018, so it was quite old and slow and
Mhm.
full of stuff, like too much stuff, which I had this feeling like I need to get something that is like dedicated to to making content. And it had these problems with editing like 4K. It was quite impossible. I had to decrease sort of the quality when I was editing, so it was really a pain in the ass, I'd say. But it's I still have the computer here, but I'm not really using it anymore. I'm just like transferring some files to my new laptop from you guys, so that's the only reason why it's still here.
Wow. 2018. That's a long time.
It is, yeah. For some reason, I tend to use a computer as long as it works, even though it really doesn't work anymore. Like it does the job, but it's not easy. So I think it was a good time for an update.
Okay. Well, glad we were here to make that happen for you. And I am curious, how did you find out about Creative Devices?
It might have been a video from Keith Merrow, or that's a person who I associate with you guys for some reason, because that may have been the first like where I sort of found out about you. But I'm
Okay.
not quite sure. It was a couple of years ago already, and I've known about you for you know a long time. And when we first started messaging, that was the time when I
Mm.
really felt that my old computer is not working anymore, so I need something new. And I saw that great players and creators used your product, so it felt really like natural.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, Keith is great. He's in the band Vitriol now. I got to see them in Brooklyn. It was an awesome show. Keith actually was one of the first people to demo one of our computers. I think back in 2023, he made yeah, he made one of the first videos. Him and a couple other people. Yeah, and he's still using our devices to this day.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've seen like many posts from him, so that's
Yeah,
that's really great. And he's such a great player, and he knows his way around recording and content. And it's really great to see that he's really using your products for everything, so that's cool.
yeah. We're very grateful to be here and uh, work with amazing musicians such as yourself and Keith Merrow. It's, for us, it's like a dream. We wanted to create products. Speaking for myself, right? I help design these as if I were designing them for myself. I'm that type of person. Like if you create music, you make it for you and you hope that other people will appreciate it. So it's the same thing with these devices. I help design them for me, hoping that other people will appreciate them. And I'm very happy to know that, they're being appreciated.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that's the approach that, it resonates when it's done that way. I make my content for myself. I write riffs that I like, and I film videos that I like. So with the hope that people outside, appreciate it as well. So that's really, really great.
Thank you. Thank you. Ah, I got to take a trip to Finland, man. I've always wanted to go.
You should, man.
Just, yeah, I'd love to. Um, how far is it? Well, I'm not going to have time. I just thought about it. I'm going to be busy. I'm actually heading over to Germany next month. I wish it would be nice if I had time to take a trip over there, but I've got to be back here for something. But I'll definitely be back in Europe again. I'll see if I can make the trip over there. When are you coming to the States? I saw your picture at NAMM, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." Are you going to be able to make the next one?
Well, I hope so. With the situation with the world right now, it's hard to know what the future brings. But my hope is that I could be at NAM next time, since I have my picture for like 2 NAMs now, like 2 years I think now. So it feels like I'm already kind of there, but I'm not. So I kind of want to like experience that. But yeah, it would be
Awesome.
cool to meet you in person as well.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So let me know if you can, with everything that you have going on right now, where do you see yourself and your band in the next 5 years?
I mean, well, for myself, I really hope that I get to do things that, still that inspire me. You know, Life and what I do may be a little different, who knows? But I hope I still have, that spark about creating and making music, and hopefully make some, like original solo music, and hopefully get to travel within these next couple of years. And you know I'm really like curious what the future brings. And I guess the main goal is to like be true to myself and what I want to do, and you know hopefully making good things. And with my band, since the passing of Korsta, we're still like giving it some time, I'd say, to see like how it feels. And we don't really want to like force anything, because Korsta was such a big part of the band. And I guess, I'll see what the future holds, but hopefully good things are coming.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. Yeah. Well, the world loves your riffs, man, and we'd love to hear an album of your stuff.
Oh yeah.
So whenever you get around to it, there's no rush, no pressure. Whenever you get around to it.
Yeah, for sure. That's the plan. Like at least some singles, that would be great. And people are always like asking, is there a song for this riff? And when are you gonna release some riffs? And life has been so busy that recording songs hasn't really been possible, to be
Mhm.
honest. But hopefully finding some time and put things together, since I have so many riffs already. So I think they deserve a song or a full album.
Yeah, I think you can just take a conglomerate of your riffs and maybe organize them in a way that uh, whichever ones fit or work well together, you can just create a song or just create one from scratch. And maybe you might feel, oh, this riff would go here and that riff would go. There's so many ways to do it. you
Yeah,
know.
for sure. And I feel like my Instagram was actually like a place to collect those ideas and, you know, have like a place where you can post them and, come back to them if I want to and maybe tweak them or use them in songs, but it would be sort of a physical place where I have my ideas. So I think it's a good way to, start making those songs come to life.
Okay. Well, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I know everyone else is looking forward to it. Uh, we see a lot of the demos that you make for all these products. Um, Hopefully, Mayones or one of these other guitar companies that you like will be releasing a signature model for you. It'll be another reason to make it to NAMM. So your picture has been up at the bare knuckle booth for years, like you said. Um, what is it about those pickups that you like? Is there something different in the sound versus DiMarzio or Seymour Duncan or EMG or something? What is it about bare knuckles that attracts you?
Well, I guess the main thing or main things are that they really have this sort of dynamic sound that you can really like dig in and have that, control of the sound. And I mainly use the juggernauts from Bare Knuckle, and they are obviously Misha Mansour's signature pickups, and they really have this like clarity and tightness and richness and dynamics, which I really enjoy. And like I said, I used the active ones like EMGs back in the day, but there was something organic about passive pickups. And I really don't know like why I stuck here, but it feels good and it helps me to bring out those ideas that I have. So it works. So I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Like you said, it works. It's
Exactly.
awesome. Wow. You know, I've been asking you all these questions. Is there anything that you'd like to ask me?
Yeah, actually, you asked me about like where do I see myself in the
Mhm.
future, like in 5 years, and it would be really great to know where do you see Creative Devices in like 5 years? What are the goals and like what are you looking to achieve?
I would say the goal is always going to be awareness to help let the world know that creative devices exists. Um, I get messages every now and then from someone saying, "Man, I wish I knew you guys existed sooner. I just spent all this money on this computer, and they would have rather got one from us, but it's too late. They can't return it. So now they have to wait until a certain amount of time." Yeah, and I understand, right? And I think to myself, well, what are we not doing? You know, how can we get the word out more to everyone to let them know that we exist so people, one, don't have to spend so much money on something that they don't need, and two, they can get something that they can customize and make it uniquely theirs. So I think that's the goal, finding ways to make sure that the rest of the world can learn about creative devices so people don't have to go through this.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the need for computers and products like this is really out there, and people want like great products that they can use for this exact reason, making content and being creative. And we just need to not like have the products and the information and the, sort of the customers come together, but that's the challenging part, I guess, with promotion.
Yeah,
But yeah, sounds really good.
thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, just, you know, promotion, it can be a tricky thing. We're not doing paid ads and all that other stuff like other brands are doing. Everything is very organic and word of mouth. just like how you learned about us from Keith Merrill. And I always ask people how they found out about Creative Devices. And these things will help us to understand what works and figure out what else we need to do to help make sure that more people learn about us. Because some people stumble upon us by accident. You know, they might see one of your posts on Instagram and that's how they find out about us, you know. But although that's amazing, we need more, right? More people need to, because I feel bad when I get these messages and find out that someone spent 4,000, 6,000, you know, something crazy on something that wasn't even worth it. Like, and it's just a basic thing that they can't customize and, you know, they can't upgrade. And I just, that bothers me, you know. I wouldn't want something like that. I don't like limitations, and I like to be able to, I'm a tweaker. I like to be able to tweak things, you know. As a musician, you understand, you like creating something, you want to be creative. And I think creatively with everything that I do. And I believe there's a lot of other creators out there who are the same way. So we just want to be able to provide them uh, options, you know, to be creative with everything, even their computers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like it's such a like challenge, with the big brands like, you know, have the
Yeah.
power to, make that promotion. But, it's with all the saturation in social media now, it's not easy. And, the competition, I would imagine, is pretty hard as well.
Yeah. You know, I didn't take competition really into mind because in my mind, there's no competition. These other brands are so big, they've been around for so long. Their customers are going to be loyal to them. We just wanted to create something for people who were open minded, that wanted to try something new or was tired of what was just available and wanted something different. And if other people saw it and they liked it, then, you know, maybe they'd give us a try. Or and that's what's been happening. But at the same time, I'm realizing that more and more people are being frustrated in the same ways that I was being frustrated when I was forced to deal with these other companies. And that frustration is what kind of, it's one of the things I should say that helped create Creative Devices. And I hope that more people will learn about us so they don't have to deal with that frustration as well.
Yeah, man, I really hope so, because I feel like these products really deserve, uh, you know, the spotlight for creative people. And I feel like it really sort of needs more attention. I really hope that, the word is moving out there and people find out about you, and really hoping that, I can do my part as well and let people know that I really like support you guys, and you guys make amazing products with such, honesty, and you really want to like help people and avoid that, frustration with buying too expensive stuff which you cannot customize. And, that's I really hope for the best.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And that was a great question, man. If you have any more, I'm open.
Yeah, sure. Do you have any like upcoming products that you can talk about? What are your like goals with new stuff, I'd say?
So as far as new stuff is concerned, we've been testing out a touchscreen product, and we have not been able to get the latency to where I feel it's acceptable to release it. And I don't want to put it out. I think for certain things, it's good. For certain things, it can be used fine. But I would like it to be able to be used well for everything because it's not a laptop. This one is it's a stand-alone unit. It's kind of like a desktop solution where it would just sit on a desk, and then you'd have a display attached to it, all in one, whether it's 20 something or 30 something inches. And you can use your fingers, you can use a pen, it can move forward, backwards, tilt up and down. It's great for graphic designers. Like if you draw or you do anything, you need to be hands-on. Even if you're, want to do what's that thing, the slate device where you can the Raven, where you can use your fingers to go up and down with the sliders and all that. So you can use it for all of that stuff. And it's cool, but I just don't know if everyone's going to gravitate towards it. And I still want it to be, like I said, available for everyone to use for any situation. So we'll continue working on it to see what we can do. Either that will come out or we'll just move on to the next. But for right now, we have two different 14s, two different 16s, plus the G16 that you have, and we've got two different minis, along with the different accessories and merchandise. We basically have everything covered because the whole idea was to create desktop replacement solutions. Something as powerful as a desktop, but it's mobile, so the laptops you can take anywhere you want. The mini PCs, they can stay stationary, or you can just put it in a bag and take it somewhere and just connect it somewhere else. That was really the main thing. So this unit, being that it's mainly going to be stationary, we're still up in the air about it. So I really don't know what's going to come out next. I can't say.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll
Yeah,
be another laptop.
sure. And I feel like you guys have like a lot of ground covered when it comes to, devices that people need. So yeah, sounds really good, and I can really like respect that you have a high level. You don't want to put out something that you are not fully comfortable with. So
Right.
that says a lot about you and your, approach and your attitude. So I can really respect that, and take your time with it and see what happens. And I feel like I said, that so many of the things that people really need are already there. So hopefully, more people find about them. So I think that's something that's, you know, we need right now.
Thank you. Thank you. I was thinking the same thing. Because when we started, we only had Intel devices. I like AMD, but I know that most people are familiar with Intel. So we came out with the first model, which was for audio. It had an integrated graphics, not a dedicated graphics card, because dedicated graphics cards at the time, the drivers would interfere and create latency. We needed to figure out a way to prevent that from happening. But then people were asking for a laptop with a dedicated graphics card to be able to do more advanced graphics for higher quality video editing, 3D rendering, etc. And that's when we came out with the one that you have now. And I think the key was, and I've said this before, just making sure you only have what's needed in these devices. So when you buy a typical consumer device, they're not sure what you're going to use it for. They put a bunch of stuff in it, right? We make sure that everyone can use our devices, but whatever's not needed doesn't go inside of it. And it helps to keep the latency down. So we have different models with integrated graphics if you're only doing audio or anything where you don't need really high-end graphics. We have models if you need high-end graphics. We have AMD versions of laptops if you prefer AMD over Intel. And we have mini PCs, both Intel and AMD. So I think like you said, I think we have a lot of ground covered, but we're always thinking about more. We do know that there are people out there who like touch screens, and we have external displays. Two of our external displays are touch screens, so you can get one of those. connect it with one USB-C cable, and you can have your touchscreen capability there. And it's portable. You can put in your laptop bag, take it with you anywhere you want to go. But we're always experimenting, thinking about, well, what about people who want to just stay in one place and who want something different? We haven't actually seen something like what we're working on. And if we have seen something like it, it's just way too expensive. So we're always just trying to think of everyone. We don't want to leave anyone out,
Yeah,
creatively.
yeah, for sure. And I feel like, at least for myself, I don't really know much about like computers specs. That's not something I'm really like familiar with. And when I was thinking about like getting a new laptop, I guess the main thing with you guys was that these are like focused on creatives. So I knew that, for what I needed for, these guys, have it covered. They know what a creator needs. So I think that's really like one of your strong points, because it's focused in a way that it has nothing like that it really doesn't need, which is like perfect for me as well. So yeah, but I can really appreciate your approach to everything you said.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. You ask good questions, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to know?
I mean, maybe that's pretty much it that I had in mind. You know, I was really curious about, your approach, which I kind of already knew based on our discussions, but also the future, what are you planning on and what are your goals for the upcoming years? So, but I think that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Oh, this was great, man. I got to sit down and we have a face to face, even though it's over the phone. And I got to learn about you, how you started, the history of, your band and your friend that got you inspired to switch to passives and the different body styles and everything, and very grateful. Thank you for taking the time to hop on this call with me.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. And I feel like this sort of connects me as an artist to you in more in a deeper way, even though it's through phone. But the brand and the artist relationship kind of takes a next level, since this is sort of the first time we talk sort of face to face. So I really like it, and I'm really excited about the future of creative devices, and I hope that I can be a part of that.
Thank you. I'm excited too, and I'm sure you will be. Everyone that uses our devices, they love them, and we have great relationships with everyone, and everyone's so cool, man. I mean, I never would have thought I'd be sitting here having a video call, with someone like you. It's this is awesome. I would love to create a community where everyone can do this, where all creative people can just get together and maybe just sit down and have a video call and share ideas, help each other out with something, and at the same time we can get together and decide, well, what do we need, what do we think would help to improve what we're doing, maybe even everyone get together and say, maybe, design a new laptop. Let's get together and design a new laptop. What do we think the best processor would be? What do we think the best graphics card would be? Which size do we think it should be? And if everyone comes together and that we all agree on that, let us know. We'll build it, you know? No one else is going to do that, uh, because they only care about their bottom line. We didn't do this to get rich. We did this because we're passionate about this. We're all creators, right? And we want to continue to create, and we want to help other people create. Because imagine if no one was creating, how boring would the world be, you know? So it's always going to be a personal thing for us. And as a creator, you understand that you just you couldn't wake up one day and not create. You'd feel like something was missing inside, you know. So that's how it is for us as well, and we just want to continue to help everyone to be able to keep creating, keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's my approach as well for everything I do. And I feel like even though as creators we create different things, we have our differences, but I feel like we have so much in common in these topics you mentioned. So I think that has a lot of, power to improve things, like you said, on your end, on your products, and you know, we can learn from each other, and you know, it has a lot of power to it. So I'm hopeful that we could do something like this.
Thank you. We'll make it happen. We're putting it out there, positive vibes out into the world. It's gonna happen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate
Thank,
it.
thank you. I appreciate you too. Thanks again for taking the time to hop on this call. Uh, I know you're busy. We're all looking forward to hearing more from you, and you and I will chat more soon.
We will. Thank you so much, man. Talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you soon. Take it easy.